So I ended up reading 14 books in the month of February, and I had 5 5 stars, which honestly is very impressive. So let's dive into these ones together. First up we have The Road of Bones by Demi Winters, which is the first book of the Ashen series, and this is absolutely what I needed after finishing Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. It was just perfect. This was definitely like a Viking-inspired fantasy, and it did have like a romance kind of subplot throughout it, but the romance was more of the forefront from throughout the end of the book, and I kind of like that. It wasn't like the first like 100, 200 pages was just a romance. It was more the fantasy, and then you kind of built up to the romance, and that worked really well in this book's favor. And also I just loved our main character Scylla. She was powerful, she was badass, and I just kind of liked her kind of growth as a character as well. She's kind of learning the world after the death of her father. But yeah, this book, I read 400 pages in one sitting because I could not put this down. And the last like 150 pages, there was so much betrayal. There was so much like shocking twists that I was not expecting. And then we have Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher. This is definitely for fans of the movie Sinners. I absolutely love this. This is like a kind of like a gothic horror book set in like the 1900s, and this was just amazing. I like the scientific elements of this, and like the bug horror and the kind of like more creepy, unsettling moments, because this wasn't really scary. It was more just unsettling and unnerving, and I think that worked in this book's favor as well. It kind of helped with the storyline, and yeah, I loved this book. I found it so interesting and also just so easy to read, and I finished this in one sitting, so I definitely highly recommend this. Then we have to talk about First Time Caller and Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. I gave First Time Caller 5 stars because I was like, this was amazing. This is one of my favorite romances I've ever read. Then I read A Now Back to You, and I gave this pretty much 6 stars. I love this series so much. It is one of my favorite contemporary romance series ever. I think the emotional depth that B.K. Borison like uses for her characters is so well done, and it really kind of connects to you as a reader. And I just love both our couples. We have Aiden and Lucy, and then Delilah and Jackson. I will say Delilah and Jackson is my favorite out of the two at the moment, but I just feel like watching their characters grow and kind of learn kind of how to kind of be with each other and kind of deal with each other's problems and issues. It was just done so well, and the storyline, I'm obsessed. And finally, of course, we have The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne, the final book in the Bloodsworn trilogy. This whole series was 5 stars. I don't think I'm ever going to read a fantasy series that I've loved as much as this series ever again. I love this series so much. I love the characters in this. Orca is definitely one of my favorite FMC characters ever. And I'm kind of sad that this series is over because I loved it so much. I definitely will be reading another John Gwynne series soon. I don't know what one yet, but I feel like I'm going to start with Malice, which is the first book in the Faithful, the Fallen series. So yeah, I cannot wait to read more of his work.